Not. Look at the Torah Parshas. Torah on Parshas Vayishlach, page 48. 3 lines from the end of the page. The Alter Rebbe is explaining Yaakov Avinu wanted to elevate Yosef. Well, he wanted to bring down the Makifim of Yosef into Tikkun and the Pnimius, but he saw Yosef's not ready. So therefore he said, okay, I got to do it myself. Therefore he divided the camps into 2 rather than 3. So he explains the difference between Tehu and Tikkun. Tikkun is like a segel, where there's unity between Chesed and Gevurah. So there's Chesed and Gevurah, and then there's the unity between them. In Tikkun, there's only Chesed and Gevurah. Chesed is not Chesed, and Gevurah, there's no unity between the two. And therefore he says, Yaakov Avinu brought these non-kosher animals, even though non-kosher animals are not kosher for a korban, because he wanted to reach the level of Tehu. And he says, the alpha became, 5 lines to the end of the page. The alpha became Okay, therefore we see Yaakov Avinu brought the mincha, which is a korban, to Esav. He said, B'yeshamaisa korbanos has to be mebeimis teira mishchutim dafka. They have to be kosher animals and shechted. But even then, shchita is ksheira b'zor, you don't even need to be a kohen. Korban potatoes only sear for azalzal, and also korbanos they only brought the chelev and dam. What was unique about Yaakov's gift and korban to Esav? Amin chazei sholach Yaakov Esav abehemis tmeis. Like it says Gemal minikes, and not only that there were live animals and not shechted animals. You can't bring a live korban to the Beis Hamikdash. It has to be shechted, then it becomes a korban. Here, Yaakov's mincha was live animals. They didn't shecht the animals, they were live. And behemis tmeis. Okay, the top of Chafei. The purpose of the halos man, like we said, Yisarusa the Lasat of Yaakov Avinu, was laham shechmad, to bring down Mayim Tchurim, the Yisarusa the La'ela, in a level of Makav of Elam V'aman v'amad Elam Ateu, and therefore the awakening from below and the gili from above of Tehu, Mishuna, is different, ube'ef and achen, completely different way from the man and mad of Elam Atikun, which is the korbanos of Torah. The Torah is the level of Elam Atikun. Elam Atikun is our pnimi. It says like this: there are korbanos of Tehu and korbanos of Tikkun. The korbanos of Yaakov Avinu were Tehu, and therefore it was whole different. Famous Tmeis, living, whatever it was. The korbanos of the world of Tikkun is the way Torah says to be, it has to be shechted, it has to be kosher animals. Why? Because over there by Tikkun it has to come into a keli. A keli is when it's shechted, and that when the or comes into the keli, that shows like it says in Eitz Chaim, in Tikkun ha'eres mu'atim. What was the difference? In the world of Tehu, we learned before, Eres Merubim, V'Kelim Moatim. There was a lot of odd and very little vessel. Because there was no tzimtzum. Then, one second, and then you have in the world of Tikkun, the Eres Muatim. Why? Because there's tzimtzum, and therefore the Eres come into a keli, and they're functioning, and they're everything good. Therefore, Torah that comes in the world of Tikkun is igam kim b'chinas diktumim v'tzimtzumim. Therefore, it has to be in a particular way. It has to be shechted. It has to be kosher animals. It has to be in a way that it can come in a pnimius. Therefore, all the details of Allah's man. Again, it's another word, it's a Kabbalistic word for Sarusa, the Lasata, the awakening from below. It has to be Diktukim Shum Mishpid Ma'isha Kabbanis. Therefore, it goes into details. Number 1, it has to be Behemis Tehirim. It has to be kosher animals. And it could be Gimel Minas Be'ed Levat. Like you said, there's only Seir, Izim, right, things like that. And there has to be Shchutim Davka. And there's a lot of Dvarm Shakarbim Nifsel by. There's a lot of things that invalidate the korban. You know, if you had the wrong machshava, whatever it is, different things. Shakarban nifsal v'chein binyan akrov. Not only shechting the carbon, bringing the carbon, but after you shecht it, bringing it to the mizbeach. Harbidik to convey. There's a lot of details, and if you don't do it exactly right, you invalidate it. In Teu, in Yaakov Avinu's Karbanis, there were no details. Brought the animals, that was it. There's no details. Because in Tikkun, the halos man, the seduced awakening from below and the awakening from above is orderly.
Anyone could say whatever I'm doing, that it's coming from all Torah could say the same thing.
The problem is, what the Torah forbids, because we can't elevate it. The whole purpose of the sparks of Tehu falling down is that we should elevate those sparks.
But Yaakov gave these animals, and he said the reason is because
it wasn't in the Beis Hamikdash, it wasn't after Matan Torah, and it wasn't anything. It wasn't a carbon of Tikkun. It wasn't a carbon of Torah.
They were gifts, right?
Yeah, but mincha, gift, the Torah calls minchas really means a carbon. Because the whole Torah is formulated in that way, because Torah comes from Tikkun, that has to be eris mitzumtzamim b'teicha kelim. In other words, like this. When you do a mitzvah according to Torah, which is Tikkun, the mitzvah has to be done 100% correctly. Somebody could say, okay, a mikveh needs 40 saw, 40 saw water, and if there's 39.99999,
it's good.
what's the big deal? The answer is no, it's not good. Is that little bit of water going to make a difference? The answer is in the world of Tikkun it does. In the world of Tehu it doesn't make, because Tehu there's no Seder. There's no tzimtzum. You put on tefillin like this, it has to be like this, exactly like this. If it's a little bit off, it's not kosher, you didn't do it. Why? Because in Tikkun, you're bringing odd into the keli. When you bring it into the vessel needs to be properly according to the way Torah prescribes it to be. No, a tzaddik can't shecht a camel and eat it. Even Yaakov Avinu's level. No. To whom? To whom? To Beis Hamikdash. To Esav in the world of Tehu. Aval Yaakov heleman lebchinas hamakim to Tehu, which is Ar Gadol Shein Tzav. Lachen liyucha keli lachile. Therefore, even after all is said and done, the keli doesn't handle it. It stays the level of makif. And he says, bemis tmeis, even bemis tmeis, like gemalim manikis and all that. Evakulan and they were alive. Why was that called a carbon, so to speak? And Yaakov Avinu's level to Esav. Because the ord is Ein Sof. There's no level of tzimtzum or dikduk. Why not? Because when you reach that level of elokus, Hashem can tolerate everything. By Hashem, there's no difference if you shechted it, you didn't shecht it, the beim is kosher over there, or in chayshech is the same thing. Gvul and bli gvul, if in it, to find it, everything's the same. So in that world of take, she'nim tzim tumim tzumim klau. K'mayim Razalik, the Medrash says, Gabi Chazir, Sha'asid lahachzir litoy. The Medrash says, why is a Chazir called Chazir? Why is a pig called a Chazir? Because Chazir means lahachzir. It's going to be turned to be kosher. So the Medrash says, La'asid lavi, a Chazir is going to be kosher to eat. Why? She'yavul ha'mavis l'netzach. Because then Hashem will remove evil from the world, so Shoshkim Satzmeis won't exist. So therefore we can get Gal Atmins v'yocha gam b'chazir la'alis alis mashen kenata. So now it can't be. But Yaakov Avinu's time it was able to be.
This mincha, if anybody but Esau would have been correct.
Yes. Again, we're talking about if I can give you a camel or a pig for a gift, yeah? We're talking about Yaakov Avinu bringing a mincha le'esav. It's a korban to the world of Teihu. Okay? Over there, it doesn't have to be kosher. Over there, it doesn't have to be shechted. It doesn't have to be anything. Because in the world of Teihu, nothing matters. Why? Because it doesn't come in a pneumius anyway. It doesn't internalize. If it's not internal, who cares? But if you want to do it internally, then it has to work. לכן יעקב ששלח מנחה לעשו שלוש זמן למעקב דתהו. שלח גם כן דברים טמאים, he sent דברים טמאים. And therefore he sent גם כן גמלים מניקס. And he says, כי אדרבה, שושן של גמלים ומאוד נעלה. Now the Rebbe is saying, the source of camels is very, very great. Commercial calls by Eliezer. It says he took Yud Gemalim mi Gemalim Adonov, right? He took 10 camels, yeah? V'chol tuv Adonov b'yadoi, and that's like Gamal alai imol. Gamal comes with like Gemilas Chsadim, like his mother had pity on him. But listen to this. Because Allah yochel lasis rak Yaakov v'kedem matan Torah. Aber anachnu kvar nitan lanu ha-Torah from the level of tikkun, and therefore mashu tamei v'asal pi Torah. What's forbidden is meruchek, very far v'lo yochel la'alus kol. You can elevate it. And not only that, he. Not only that, he calls a nefesh b'achila chelev. If you eat chelev, you get koris. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe is explaining Yaakov Avinu was a unique thing. He thought that Yosef is already refined. He just wanted to bring down Teihu in the previous. He saw Yosef, and they came back and said, Dalash Meis, like we learned just the other day, that's total level of Gvura is not refined at all. He's still the same Rosh he was. So Yaakov said, okay, I got to elevate Teihu myself. Which he did, by the way. And he was level before Matan Torah.
For sure he knows about Torah. Otherwise, how could he know about Olam Tohu, Olam Tikkun?
What do you think, he didn't learn Chassidus?
Of course he did. 14 years, how many times can you read the Torah?
Yaakov Avinu learned Chumash?
100%.
Okay. Did he learn that Yosef was sold as a slave?
He didn't learn it. He didn't learn it the way.
What do you mean he didn't learn it? So it says, Ramban writes in his introduction to Chumash that the whole Torah was one long word. Now if you write it one long word, you could read it a million different ways. Okay.
Rabbi, what did Yosef told Yaakov that he found out he's not refined?
No, the guy, the Malachim came back and he said Yosef is coming with 400 people. It says that those people are the source of all evil. Yeah, the Malachim came back and said, Banu Elochicha El Yosef. Yeah? The Malachim came back and they say, Banu Elochicha El Yosef. We came to your brother to Yosef. It could have said, Banu Elochicha Yosef. We came to your brother Yosef. It said, we came to your brother to Yosef. It's redundant. So what the Medrash says, what it means is, Banu Alachicha, you think it's your brother. El Yosef, he's only Yosef.
You be there somewhere that the Malachim went and beat up Esau's men?
Yeah, Rashi says in Chumash, in today's Chitas. And until they said, then they said, who was Yitzchak's child, no good. When they said Yaakov's brother, they let him go.
Obviously, he knew about Olam Tohu and Olam Tikkun.
Can you imagine Yaakov not learning Chassidus? Was he a misnagid? Of course he learned Chassidus.
Did Esau also wanted to bring Tohu to Tikkun, or he had no idea?
Esau had an idea. Esau was a very great neshama that Nebuch fell very low. Esau had a high neshama.
Why did he mean when he said to Yaakov, come with me, we go together? So he will go to Tohu, or he will take him to the negativity?
No, well, in Pshat, Rashi says, no, Yaakov is afraid of him. He's going to kill him. In Chassidus, it means, he said, let's come, we'll do Teo and Tikkun together. Yaakov said, I see it's not ready yet. I'll come to you. He said, I will come to you. So when Mashiach comes, and this week's Haftarah, Vayishlach Hashem Amlucha. When Mashiach comes, I'll come to Esav. I'll elevate you then. No. He said, Adoni Seira. This big passion when after the whole story, Yosef said, Nisav and Elecha. Let's go together. Yeah? So in Pshat, Rashi says he wanted to kill him. But in Chassidus, it is because he said, okay, let's do Teo and Tikkun together. So Yaakov said, no, I see, Teo is not elevatable yet. Yitzchak tried, I tried, it's not going. When is it going to happen? It's going to happen when Mashiach comes. Okay, next. This is all really one mimer divided into different sections.
By the Torah, you told me more of the Torah, this, and
breaking vessels still exists.
Vessel continuing.
It's above time and place, yes.
So what are we doing? If it's a continuing happen, okay,
No.
No matter how much we send up, it's going to come back again.
Correct. To reach a higher level.
So it's this way. It's
Yeah.
not up and down.
Our Aveda.
Okay. So it goes, we do, so it does.
Problem it never ends.
But it does go higher.
Sure.
But he doesn't want to say that. Next pasuk it says he goes to Sukkot.
Yeah, but he didn't say go with Esav, he went by himself.
Correct.
No.
But he doesn't.
Esav said, let's go together.
Correct.
Which means let's do a combination of Teo and Tikkun.
Right.
So that means let's refine Teo. So Yaakov said, no, I can't.
He sends him to Seira, and he goes to Sukkot.
No, so what?
And he doesn't need him in Seira.
That's what I'm telling you. Rashi says in Chumash, he meant, I will come to you in Mashiach's time.
In Seira.
Right. In Edom. Because then Edom will be elevated.
He mentioned Mashiach to
Vayishlach Hashem Amlucha. In the Haftarah today it says. This week. Okay.
And Esau knew what Mashiach is.
Yep. Again, these guys, the term mentions with love on a. Listen, let me ask you a very simple question. When was the last time God spoke to you? Seriously. Didn't. Right? I hope not. Lavan was chasing Yaakov. Hashem came to Lavan at night and spoke to him.
I understand.
Okay, so you're talking about a Yukol, you're not talking about as low as Bilam. Bilam was a greater Navi than Moshe Rabbeinu. Bilam was an anti-Semite, bigger than the guys today.
You're telling me the guy who had no value for humanity, who had no value, sleeping with everybody, killing everybody, knew what Mashiach is. Impossible for me to digest.
In the source of his neshama, he understood. He understood. You woke up this morning? Yeah, God said, hi, I'm here, wake up. Bemet, I'm not joking. Hashem talks to you, oh, you just took off your jacket. Who gave you the ability to move your arm? That's Hashem saying, I am here.
Somebody says, Hashem says something in the world, you can hear it.
Yeah, the voice comes out, the neshama hears it. There's a few Gemaras that said Basko comes out from Har Sinai every day. Yeah? So the question, who hears it? So this explains, the neshama hears it. Today's Mittel Rebbe's redemption. They asked the Mittel Rebbe, Rabbi Hillel Pardish asked the Mittel Rebbe if he should chazak Chassidus, I mentioned it Shabbos, if he should speak Chassidus in places where the people are ignorant. They don't know what I'm talking about. He says you should do, because the neshama hears it. It's brought down the Yem Yem. The neshama hears it. So maybe the seichel is limited, but the neshama of every Jew understands it.
There are people that speaks in Yiddish and they don't understand a word of Yiddish.
but the Neshama understands.
Yiddish is a more made-up language, or it was one of the 70 languages?
God gave the Torah in Yiddish. Mama Lushan, it's called. Mother tongue.
Moshe.
Moshe. Okay. Vayakam balaylo vayikash shtei noshe vayaves ma'aver yabek. Okay, he got up that night, he took his 2 wives and the kids and everything, and he went ma'aver yabek, the other side of the river, vayikah vayichem vayivim esenach, and he crossed over the water. So he says, what is yabek? Yabek is spelled Yud Beis Kuf. So Yabek is Yichud Bracha Kedusha. Yabek is, there's a sefer, it's interesting, a very big Kabbalah sefer called Maver Yabek. Maver Yabek literally means the other side of the bridge. So there's a sefer, by the way, a lot of halachas of Avelus and Inyanim of Avelus, the origin of it is in a sefer called Maver Yabek, which means the other side of the bridge. That means after the neshama leaves the body, on the other side, you go to the other world. That's what's going on over there. But it says in the pasuk before, no, it doesn't say before, it's a little later. Peter Shanos, it says the others came from the other side of the Nahar. What do you mean the other side of the Nahar? Nahar is Bina. Like explained before, Nahar in the other Memar. Nahar is the level of Bina. Like it said, Nahar Yetzim Eden. So Shayr Sha'avis Me'ever HaNahar, the source of the Avis. Avram, Yitzchok, and Yaakov came Me'ever HaNahar, higher than the level of Bina. They came from the level of Keser, Shulamayla Me'anahar now. Raksh Misham Nimshcho Avis. Therefore, from their level of Keser, the Avis originate from Vinish Belamata Be'eva Sheni Shalanor. And then they come into this side of the Nord in the level of Zav Atzilis, Chesed, Gvura, Teferes. So the Avis originate Me'eva Nord from the other side of the Nord, mean from Keser. Then the Avis come into the world, so then they come into Zav, which is Chesed, Gvura, Teferes. Yaakov Shirotza Sheyamshach LeYamakov the Teoanal Shlifnei Atzilus, and therefore Yaakov Avinu wanted to get that source of Keser. He had to go back to the source, because that's where he went. He went on the other side of the Nahar, because Nahar is Bina. Yaakov Avinu wanted to be Mamshach from Keser, because he wanted to get Tayu. So you have to go on the other side of the, and that's what it says, V'yaver Maber Yabek. What does it mean? He went on the other side of Yabek, Ki B'chinas Yichud Kuch Bracha Kedusha. Because the unity between Bracha and Kedusha is the level of Nahar. Shal Yod Einim Shal Kol Hashpois. From the level of Nahar which flows. A Nahar flows. That means all the levels of Kedusha flow, and it becomes the yichud of Eretz Yenim, the revelations from above. Therefore, Kshav Eretz Hanor, when Yaakov Avinu went on the other side of the Nahar, meaning he reached the level of Keser. Not far from the level of Tehu. What do you mean? He passed over everything. He took everything over to the other side of the river, meaning Kol Mashatikun. Everything Yaakov Avinu elevated in Yosef's house, he elevated everything there. But he remained Lamata Adayan. But in other words, Yaakov Avinu did, that was what Rabbi is saying, he elevated all his things, all his possessions that he elevated. He elevated them to the other side of the Nahar. But Yaakov remained down here. Why? He tried once more to be Mavadet Esav, which is Shul B'Shvira, like the Malachim said, and that's Vayovik Ish Imei Keneda. When Yaakov fought Esav, because he was alone, right? So he said, why did Yaakov Avinu remain alone? So he said, everything he elevated to the other side of Nahar. everything that Yaakov, he moved to Kesed. But now Yaakov himself wanted to fight Esav the way Esav is down here. So it says, Vayivo said Yaakov levadai. Yaakov, by the way, the Medrash says, Beis and Chaf are interchangeable. So don't read it. Remember, he left Pachim Ktanim. A Kad is a small pitcher. A Chavis is a barrel. Kad is a... So it says, the Medrash says, don't read it. Levada vayivasa Yaakov lekadai. He went back for his little Kad. The Pachim Ktanim. That's how the Medrash knows that he wanted to... Anyway.
So Rivka had a small picture?
Huh?
Rivka.
The Kad al-Shechmi, yeah, she was a little girl.
All the man with a little small picture?
She went a few times. Okay, a Kad doesn't mean a little tiny pitcher. A Kad is a small pitcher in relevance to a Chavis, a barrel. But the third parak of Bava Kama, Meniach, the Gemara speaks, I guess, Kad and Chavis, the guy bought a Kad, and wanted to get the guy gave him a Chavis, whatever. So the Gemara says, some people call Kad a Chavis a Kad. How big was Rivka's jug? Big enough to, but she had to go back and forth a few times. I don't know how many times, it doesn't say, she went a few times.
Gimalim drink a lot of water. 10 Gimalim is a tremendous amount of water.
No.
She was very kind, extremely kind.
Thank you for informing me. I'll tell Yitzchak next time I see him.
After 100
I mean, yeah, that's why she married Yitzchak. But what's interesting, Yitzchak is Rabbi Gvor and she was Chesed. That's why Yitzchak wanted Esav and she wanted Yaakov.
Yes,